The Artemis Great Kindrocket Quadrathlon is an exhilarating test of stamina, strength and fitness through some of the most spectacular and historic areas of the Scottish Highlands. The event starts from Altalnig Shore, just below Kindrocket, where you swim 1.5 kilometres west across Loch Tay, the sixth largest loch in Scotland, with a depth of over 150 metres. After a quick change on the north shore, you then head past the remains of the ancient village of Lawes, a casualty of the Highland clearances and home to the prophetic Lady of Lawes. It is a steady climb from there up the first of 7 Munros on the 24-kilometre route, Mille Gre, at a height of just over 1,000 metres. Following the ridgeline west, you will have stunning panoramic views of the Scottish Highlands in all directions, with Loch Tay snaking along 800 metres below you to the south. The second Munro is Mille Gav, and then a scramble up Anstuck, which in Gaelic means the pointed hill. Next is Ben Lawes, the highest Munro on the route at 1,214 metres and the 10th highest mountain in Scotland, after which you continue southwest over Ben Glass and Mille Coranich, Hill of the Bracken, before dropping down to the reservoir at Loch nan Lareig. After some sustenance at the reservoir checkpoint, you then face a tough 500-metre climb to the top of Mille nan Tamachan, before following the ridge southwards and dropping down towards the shore of Loch Tay. Keep an eye out for the local wildlife as you go round the route: ptarmigans, red grouse, ravens and possibly even a wildcat, which have been known to eat stray walkers. Once you reach the Loch Tay Highland Lodges at Milton Moronish, you'll collect a kayak and then paddle east along the north shore of the loch. In the Iron Age, people lived on the loch in crannogs, defensible man-made islands primarily made of timber. Over 20 of these now submerged structures have been identified at Loch Tay. The kayak is a sapping 14 kilometres and good teamwork is required to make progress. On touching the sand at Bikini Beach on the north shore, you will be welcomed with a pina colada, and you then paddle directly east back to Kindrocket, where you collect your bikes and head clockwise around the loch on the last leg of the Quadrathlon. Even though you will be tired, you must keep your wits about you when cycling on the south side of the loch, as there are steep hills and tight bends to navigate, with oncoming traffic a constant threat on the narrow roads. After Ferbish Point, you head away from the water and round into the village of Killin, where you pass over the spectacular falls of Dochart, and a free fish supper awaits the hungry. The road by this point is much wider as you cycle on with spectacular views of the Lawes Ridge to your left, which you conquered earlier in the day, and the grandeur of Loch Tay on your right, which you should by now have a fond affinity with. Passing the Lawes Hotel, where you cross the road to access the hills in the morning, you continue following the loch as it bends round to the east. Entering woodland, you follow the southern edge of the Tay Forest Park, before arriving at the head of the loch and the village of Kenmore, where you pass the Scottish Crannog Centre. Keep an eye out for the full-scale Crannog replica. You are now on the home straight of the 54-kilometre cycle, and a final push will see yourself back to Altalnig and down to the finish line by the loch, where you slice a melon in two with a claymore and stop the clock.